What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Module 9. Can't believe we're here already. This is out of 52, by the way. This is a whole year-long course. And by the way, if you want to take this deeper, because I'm giving these modules out for free because this is my service, and I feel like this information is very important to be able to put out there, and that there shouldn't be any kind of restrictions on if you can't afford it or whatever that looks like. So I wanted to put these out there, but that being said, information is just information. And I'm putting as much as I possibly can into this, but you've still got to do the work to implement the stuff. Because you can, we sometimes we get trapped, and I found myself in this same trap where I was researching so many things, and I thought that I was actually doing a lot of things because I was reading a lot of books, and I was taking a lot of courses, and I was studying a lot of different things, and you feel like you're being productive. And there's a time and a place for just all in studying and research. But at a certain point, it's just information until you practically put it into place. You have to implement this stuff. And so that is where, with the Alchemy Tribe, the Life Magic Alchemy Tribe, is the correlate to all of these modules. The modules are just I wouldn't say just, but the modules are the kind of the framework of the material of the coursework. But the Alchemy Tribe is the implementation, is the accountability, is the actually creating and implementing this stuff into your own unique situation, and making this stuff real, and giving you the tools and the tips and the tricks and the resources so that you can actually see this show up and see the benefits of practicing this stuff show up in your life, and ultimately be able to create the level of impact you want to create, whether that's a business, whether that's within your own family, within your own community, whether that's you're like me and you feel called to change the world, and to also be in a container of other like-minded men and women, if women choose to join in, but this is specifically targeted towards men, but being a container of other like-minded men to be able to be supported through the journey, because we all go through similar challenges in our finances, similar challenges in our relationships, similar challenges in developing businesses and managing ourselves so we don't burn ourselves out, and being able to hold all of the different pieces together. Because if you're anything like me, that you value being able to do a lot of different things and be good at and be great and be the best at a lot of different areas, or really all the different areas of your life, from being a world-class athlete to owning multiple businesses to having a spiritual life that is thriving and that is abundant and that is fruitful, and being able to grow yourself in that level, and then also experiencing the love and the relationships and the wealth that that you deserve, and that is all right there. And so that's really the other side of this, y'all. So I just wanted to prelude with that, just really because I felt called to. And really learning how to tap into your soul. And we're going to get more into this in the later modules, because these build on each other. But once you develop that relationship with yourself, you tap into this infinite well of power and of knowledge, really, because you quite literally are tapping into the infinite intelligence of the universe. And once you're able to tap into that, it's like you never really question if you're doing the right thing anymore, because you're able to have that as that guiding force. All right? And so today, module number 9, we're going to talk about the number 1 leading cause of death. And it's probably not what you think. And with that, we're going to talk about the hierarchy of survival. And so to kind of prelude this a little bit, and like when I learned this stuff, I was in a place in my life where I was just getting into my athletic career, and I was really, it's like most of us, I was kind of just like getting out of school, and everything that I had been taught up until that time was, all about this kind of physical, if I can weigh it and I can measure it, very like rigorous scientific approach where if you can't weigh it or measure it, it isn't real. And so everything that I was reading, everything that I was studying had all to do with the physical components of like the human body and how the human body worked, how the world worked at a physical, mechanical level. And that was helpful to an extent, and I was able to see results from that way of thinking, but I got to a point where everything started to stall. I got to a point where I wasn't able to really solve the problems that I was having, to overcome the challenges that I was facing, to really push past my current perceived limits from just looking at things from a purely physical perspective. Like, you know, if I can, just like when it came to my diet, you know, if I ate this many calories and I had this many carbs, this much fat, this much protein, if I just followed that plan, then I would get the results that I wanted. If I just follow this program, you know, with the volume and these sets and these reps and these exercises, then I would get the results that I wanted. But I came to realize that there was something I was missing within all of that. And so per usual, I started doing some digging. I started doing some more research. And around this time is when I was really getting into Paul Chek's work. And he has a concept that he calls the Chek totem pole. And we're going to get a little deeper into this in a moment. But really, the big epiphany here, the big kind of aha moment for me was when he broke down how all the different systems in the body are related. Because again, you know, a lot of times we've been conditioned that if we have a problem with our hand, we go see a doctor and we get referred to like a hand specialist. And there's even like, you know, in there's a saying, an expert is somebody that knows more and more about less and less until they know absolutely everything about nothing. And so, you know, we even have like thumb experts and like right pinky toe experts, is just kind of as an analogy, but honestly quite literal and true. And the paradox of that is like you might know a whole lot about one very focused thing, but you kind of lose sight about how all of these things are connected. And so studying Paul Chek, he was able to kind of break out of that mold and see and help me see things from a bigger perspective. Help me see how the different systems in the body were interrelated. You know, how your posture can affect your breathing, how your breathing can affect your organ function, how your emotions can affect your digestion and your thinking, and how even the thoughts that you have can quite literally create cancer in your body or cause different diseases in your body. It's so when you really start to put these pieces together, it's crazy how interrelated everything is. And so that was kind of the big breakthrough that I had that allowed me to start to create this framework that I'm going to share with you. And ultimately this framework, I call it the ultimate health hack framework. Because if you understand this stuff and you implement this stuff, this is how like I've created this level of health and performance and vitality for myself, to where, you know, I've essentially like I can just have the energy to do all of this stuff and maintain my health, maintain my sanity, not burn myself out. And yes, it is a consistent practice. I'm not perfect. This is a daily practice, and that's one of the things I want to drive home here, is this isn't something that you just learn and you just implement one day and then all your problems are gone. They're daily practices, there's daily rituals, and I'm gonna break down part of my daily routine so you can get a glimpse of what this actually looks like in real time. So step number one to this is you've gotta clear your antenna. So this is where you do need to go through that physical step. And I'm talking about your antenna as really just your whole being. And you need to create balance in your body. And so this is where, you know, cleaning up your diet, increasing your food quality, eating according to your body's metabolic type. And if you need help on these, just refer to other modules. It's all here, and it's all building on one another. So some of these things I may not get into here, but they're covered in another module, so go back. So you need to create balance in the body, like I said, to clean your antenna so that you can be a good receiver for all of the information that you're constantly interacting with, whether you're aware of it or not. I forget who said it, but there's enough energy, there's enough potential energy in 1 cubic centimeter of space to boil all the oceans. And so the energy and the information is all here. And just like there's energy and there's information that beats your heart without you thinking about it, that digests your food without you thinking about it, that grows a baby in a woman's body without her thinking about it. So it's all there, but if you're out of balance in your body because you're not eating the right way, you're not moving your body, you're not drinking enough water, you're not getting the rest that you need, all of these things at the physical level are going to interfere with your ability to tap into these subtler and subtler things and really get down to the root of the challenges that you're experiencing. So that's number one. Number two is you gotta strengthen the signal. So this is the process of growing your awareness. So once you've created a level of balance in your body and you've been able to increase your overall vitality, the next level to this, the next layer to this is being able to grow your awareness to more and more of what's going on around you. So strengthening the antenna, strengthening your ability to receive and to interact with all of the energy and information within you and without you, which you might come to a place where you realize that it's really all the same shit. And so being able to do that, and then what that actually looks like. So that's where the practices of meditation and your spiritual practice comes in, because those are the things that are going to ultimately allow you to gain the awareness, to grow. Here's my hand again, here's the witness. To grow the witness, to be able to see what's going on. Because as we'll get into, being able to see what's going on and see your thoughts and see your emotions and see the stories and witness your body objectively is the step to being able to create change. If you can't see these things objectively, then you just got all this shit swirling around that you've identified yourself with. And it's like the analogy of a tornado. It's like you're just in all the shit and then you can't see it going on, so because it's all subjective experience and it feels very real. But when you're able to cultivate that centeredness and cultivate that witness, now you can see all the shit going on around you. And then when you can see it, you can make changes. Music changed up there real quick. See it, you can make changes. And once you go through that process, strengthening the antenna, then you can start to recognize that, which we'll get into the next step here, is the cycle of thriving. And this is where the totem pole that I mentioned, this is where this will come in, or the hierarchy of survival, is essentially your body will put different functions at lower levels than other functions. And what I mean by that is, so for instance, like if your leg was injured and you had to get it amputated, then survivally that's not as big of an issue as you being able to breathe. Because you can go without a leg, but you can't go without your breath for longer than 3 minutes. Same thing with food. It's like you can go without food for quite a long time, like a month or even more. I mean, again, as you develop more and more of these capacities, there's even people that you can just live off of air and sunlight if you needed to, if you chose to. Because that, again, all the energy that we need is right here. We're constantly interacting with that. So at the bottom of that totem pole is like your limbs, things that, okay, it's obviously helpful, useful, but again, if I chop my hand off, I can still live. I can still live a long and happy and thriving life without a hand. It just may be a little bit of an inconvenience. And at the top of that, so that's at the bottom, at the top of that totem pole is actually, it's your psyche, because the way that you choose to view things, the beliefs that you hold about things, like I said, the thoughts that you have, the stories that you hold on to, your beliefs about yourself and the world around you, those quite literally inform your body. There's a saying, I think I heard this from Paul Chek, it's like, to your cells, your mind is God. And that basically that means like your thoughts and your perspectives, the meaning that you give things. Because again, what is happening around you, like your circumstances, things just are as they are. Your situation is just what it is. But the meaning that you attach to it and the focus, what you choose to focus on within that, is what creates the emotional charge that then lives in the body. And so simply by the way that you choose to view things, the thoughts that you choose to have about things can quite literally shape the rest of your body. You know, just an easy example is like you can choose to kill yourself. That's an extreme example, but that's an example. That's a conscious thought choice to end your life. And that supersedes all of the other functions. And in the same way, you know, if you're constantly choosing to believe in a story of, you know, I'm not worthy, or I'm not good enough for this, or I can never do that, that's the story that you're giving your body. Or, you know, if you're holding on to anger about something because of a story, that energy gets trapped in your body, and that energy can quite literally create dis-ease. So that's the top layer. The second layer is your thoughts, or your second layer is your breath. Because again, you can only go about 3 minutes without breath unless you've trained, before your brain starts to shut down, before things start to shut down. And then beyond that, and this is where, you know, I'm not 100% versed in the totem pole precisely, but the next level to that, or one of the next levels to that, is actually your mastication, your ability to eat. And so your body will basically, if you can't breathe correctly, if you can't chew things correctly, if your balance is off, your body will make any kind of weird compensations just to be able to have these things level and to be able to actually chew food and eat. So your body will sacrifice a lot of different other systems to make sure the things that are higher up on that totem pole can function. And then it goes down, your emotions kind of float within there, as I've talked about. And then it goes down into your organs and your organ health. Because again, you know, you can maybe go without a kidney, but you can't go without a liver. And so your body will make any kind of compensations that it has to have. So knowing all of this, you can use it to your advantage. Knowing that the thoughts and your psyche is at the top of that totem pole tells you, is a clue of what to focus on when it comes to your overall health. If you focused on the way that you view things, you focus on how that impacts the emotions that you experience, and you focus on then going down into the breath and optimizing your breath, getting full diaphragmatic breaths, optimizing your posture to then support your breath. And then all of the other physical things come after that. But it's a cycle. Because if you're focusing on your thoughts and your breath, but you're not eating correctly, and your organs are compromised, and your posture is compromised, it's going to affect things down and up the chain. So you have to work at both levels here. This is why I call it the cycle of thriving. Because if you start to work on one level, whether that's the physical, whether that's emotional or mental, or the spiritual, really gaining access to more and more of what you are, you start to focus on one level, then it starts to have a cyclical effect and a feedback effect on the other levels. So either way, you know, when I work with people, it's about starting with the place that is most accessible. For me, that was the physical part. For some people, it's different. As a good rule of thumb, it's hard to solve a problem at the same level it was created. So if you're having mental problems, then it's a good idea to start with the body. If you're having body problems, then it might be a good idea to start with the mental or emotional, as a rule of thumb. And so number 4 then is the truth about healing, which I've kind of tied into number 3. I got a little bit ahead of myself, but this kind of goes back to the point of most of the healing, and this is my own experience in working with people, most of the healing, because of the way things step down, because you have to ask yourself, like, what is the physical? You know, we think of things as physical, but if you look at an atom is like 99.9999% empty space. And so when you get down to it, you know, and this gets into like quantum physics and all this cool stuff, but I won't bore you with all that. But essentially, like, the mental steps down into the emotional, and then it steps down into the physical. So the physical is kind of like this most dense place, but it doesn't start there. It kind of more so it starts with the mental aspect. And so at a root level, a lot of the challenges that we face are actually have a root cause in the mental element. Again, the way that we choose to view things, the thoughts that we hold about things, the beliefs that we have about things. And this is why working at that level is so important, but that level isn't always accessible, which is why, again, you can start at other places within the system. But if you want to know, like, the leading cause of death, again, go back to the psyche, then go to the breath. You know, people talk about heart disease and cancer and all of these things, but what are all these things a manifestation of? The typical medical system, we just approach things at the same level that they were created. You know, we fight cancer with cancerous shit. We fight heart disease with heart disease causing shit. It's pretty, you know, ludicrous the way that we go about things, but it's just the nature of it. That's why I'm here to inform you on how things really are and how to actually create the level of health that, if you create a level of health in your body, disease cannot exist by definition. A healthy person is one in which disease does not exist. So if you focus on your health on all levels, then your chances of, you know, creating some kind of disease. Now there's other elements to this, like spiritual components that we won't get into, but as a rule of thumb, again, you can focus on your health, disease cannot exist in that state of health. And there you go. Last part of this is daily rituals. So you need to make all this stuff real. We can talk about it, we can have ideas about it, but you got to make this stuff real. And so just the easiest way to go through this is I'll give you my daily practices. So, you know, I wake up and I take my cold shower, do my bathroom stuff, and then I go outside and I do Tai Chi for 20 minutes. Sometimes I'll do sitting meditation, but every day there's some kind of silence. I was actually working with a client earlier and he told me an acronym of it's called SAVERS. So it's like S is silence, A is affirmation, V is visualization, E is exercise, R is, forget R, S is scribe. I don't have the papers with me, but you get the point. And so the next thing I do is I do my tarot cards, kind of get a feel for the day. And then I read my affirmations and I'll do some like spiritual studies. And that kind of reorients me because like that's your morning ritual. You essentially want to reorient yourself and orient yourself to the kind of day that you want to have. That's why these things are so important. That's why if you have to, wake up earlier so that you can create the space to have that morning routine, because that quite literally sets the stage for the rest of your day. If you're just waking up last minute and then you just go, then you just get caught up in the whirlwind of all the shit going on in your life and you don't create that space of grounding. Because I mean, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have that time to myself every single morning that I create on intentionally to have that space for myself. So here's your homework, and that was number 5, daily rituals. Here's your homework. Clean up your diet. Eat high quality foods. Focus on quality, and the quantity a lot of times takes care of itself. Eat according to your primal pattern type. Again, if you need some help, go refer to previous modules. Number 2, grow your witness. So we're going to keep coming back to this over and over again. So if you haven't done it already, implement some kind of spiritual practice in your life daily, every single day. And the affirmations, remember the savers. Man, kind of bugging me. I don't remember what R is. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing though. And then lastly, the healing rituals. So again, anything that you find is beneficial, going back to the savers acronym, anything that you find is beneficial for you, create space, make non-negotiables in your life. That's like one of the highest leverage things that you can do is create non-negotiables for your life, things that you will not compromise on. Like my Tai Chi is something I will not compromise on. You know, creating my schedule, outlining my day, something I will not compromise on. You know, communicating this, maintaining that connection with myself, with my soul, something I will not compromise on, because that sets the stage for everything else. And if I don't give to myself, then I don't have a lot to give to other people. And so I guard that stuff with, you know, with whatever I got to do to make sure it happens. All right, so that's what I got for y'all today. Module 9, the number 1 leading cause of death, the hierarchy of survival. My name is Nathan Barna. Welcome. This is my world of life magic. It's quite literally the alchemy of how to manifest the life of your dreams. I hope you found this helpful. And remember, never forget, the journey is the way. And by the way, P.S., if you want some more help on this, I do webinars every Thursday. It's a free training. Come on in. Link will be in the bio. Come join. Welcome to this world. See you on the other side. Peace.